Okay, let's see if we can get this one figured out. This has to do with the materials not going on to the player properly. So let's have a quick look. Start source filmmaker. Okay, we're going to reinitiate that later. Okay, so we're going to create a session and load a map. Stage will do. Okay, going to load 2 scouts, 1 HWM and 1 player. There's the player. And now for the HWM. There he is. Let's put them on the stage. Move the camera so we can see them. Get them separated a bit. Put the player on the left. There, the HWM player. I can't remember which one is which now. Doesn't matter. Just so that they're separated. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a material override to both of them. And we're going to send this one into the element. Okay, this is the player. Okay, here's the materials, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add that base texture attribute, string attribute. God, I wish I knew why this thing is doing that. Now, for this guy, we'll send him into the element viewer and do the same. Just going to do the base red. That's just going to affect his arms. Okay, so it affects his pack, his hands, and his hat, and his upper arms. Now, where did I put those textures you sent to me? I'll put them back down here in game. That's where I put them. Okay, so I put them in game. Here's your textures. There's your test one right there. And here's your eye test right there. And I made one myself just to give it a different name to see if it had anything to do with the name. And I made one myself. So, okay. We have those sitting in the game folder. What we're going to do is we're going to try and apply them to the models from the game folder. So, nothing happened. Can't find the material. Same thing with this one. Let's go red. Scout. Test. Nothing happened. Matte reload all materials. And nothing happens. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build a folder reference and put it in there. So I'm going to move it up here to Scout Test. I'm going to put it in that root folder. Cut them from there and put them in Scout Test. Right there in the root folder. Paste. Okay, because we're going to just leave that as is, and we're just going to do a mat reload all materials. And as I suspected, nothing happened. The reason being is because SFM does not know about the Scout Test folder. So I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to go into the SDK now, and I'm going to add that folder. To my search path. And it should be right in here somewhere, Scout Test, right there. Okay. Launch Source FilmMaker normally. These are still now in a folder that SFM knows about, but not sitting in a material folder. I'll have to reload the Scout and all the rest of that stuff because I didn't save this session. Okay. Create new session. Load a map. Stage. Do. New model. There's the HWM. New model. There's the player Scout. Back off. Bring these guys back up on stage again. Helps if you turn on the motion editor. And let one of them go. So we'll put the HWM on this side and the player on this side. Send this guy into the element viewer. Add the material override to both of them. Let's go red. Add the string attribute. There it goes again. I'll turn him black and purple. There we go. Send him into the element viewer. Let's go red. There's his black and purple. Now we know that the program can find the VMTs because they're a bright black and purple. They're not dull. So we know that the VMTs are being found. They can't find the materials. So I'm going to add Scout Test. Nothing happened. VTF can't be found. It's an undefined VTF. Throw this guy back into the element viewer. Do the same thing. Scout red. String. Come on. There we go. And Scout red, or Scout test. Still can't find it. Now we're going to refresh the materials again. Reload. All materials. And nothing happened. Material can't be found. So, watch what happens when I move this up one level into the materials folder. And I do a mat reload materials. Reload all materials. There's your texture. I don't know what you're doing wrong, but there it is. And it doesn't have to be in the Scout folder. It doesn't have to be in the Player Scout folder. It doesn't need to be anywhere. It just needs to be in a material folder that Source FilmMaker knows about. As for the irises, zoom in here on this guy. Well, wrong guy. There we go. His eyes are blue right now. I come into his eyeball left, add a string attribute. Call it iris. And I call it eye test. Poof. There's his pink eye, or his purple eye, or whatever you want to call it. Colorblind, I can't tell. So, yeah, the materials work. I don't know what you're doing wrong, but I had a bugger of a time doing it as well. What it was I was moving the folders or the files around, but I was forgetting to do that mat reload all materials. So anyway, you would think that restarting Source FilmMaker would do it, but it doesn't. So if I come in here now and just do one more test here, change that to test 2, and there's my materials. So all it needs to do is find a materials folder that Source FilmMaker knows about, and poof, you're in business. So yeah, with that, I'm going to say Private Jack out.